Welcome to Hardcore Books, where I pick my favorite book and I simply just read it to you. I'll start with this book that I've been reading over this past week. I've actually had it for quite some time. I'm pretty sure I got it at one of our many closed bookstores, but I've been meaning to read it for some time. So, what better time to start reading it than throughout the holidays? Simplify your work life, ways to change the way you work so you have more time to live by Elaine St. James. So it starts out with a couple of quotes. We've got our cover page here. We've got our page 2. All right. I'll start by reading the introduction. So, a few years back, I had a very hectic life and even more hectic work schedule, the pace of which was probably not all that different from yours. Over the previous 15 years, I managed my own real estate investing business, I ran seminars, and I wrote a book on real estate investing. I got into real estate because I didn't know what else to do. And once I was in, I never had the time to figure out how to get out. Eventually, I was working 60 hours a week and was seldom able to spend quality time with my family and friends, or even to have time on my own to relax and just putter around the house. I rarely took a vacation and almost never thought about how work had taken over my life. One day, while looking at my to-do list, I realized how complicated and out of balance my life had become. I decided right then and there that it was time to simplify. I started by getting rid of a lot of the clutter. I streamlined the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, and the other household routines. I minimized my wardrobe, and drastically changed my consumer habits, and I learned how to say no to the demands on my time. I also cut back my work schedule. It was a step-by-step process, but by working less, I found that I was not only more productive, I also had the time to be more creative and to think about what I wanted to do with my life. Over the next several years, I saw that it was time to let go of the real estate business completely. It seemed the height of insanity to spend the majority of my time doing something I didn't truly enjoy. Then, where people started asking me how I simplified my life, I took the leap and wrote a book about it. That book, Simplify Your Life, became a bestseller. With all the media, interviews, the promotional tours, and another book in progress, my work life suddenly had the potential to get complicated all over again. But I was committed to keeping life simple, which I've done. As my writing career developed, I gradually went from my frenetic 60-hour work week to working roughly half that time. Since then, I've come to a new understanding about my life, my work, and my reasons for working. I believed for years that I was working for the money, but I found, as many people have, that money simply isn't reason enough to keep up the grind. I've found, as many people are finding, that I'm most productive, most committed, most happy, and most financially rewarded when I love the work I do. So, contrary to what some may believe, simplifying is not about retreating to a cabin in the woods and leading a dull and active existence. Rather, cutting back your hectic work pace gives you the opportunity to make sure that you're doing work you love. If not, you can change what you do. Simplifying will also help you create the balance you're seeking in your work life, your family life, and your personal life. Out of that balance, you'll have more clarity and enthusiasm to meet your goals. You'll learn how to achieve the success you want without stress and overwork. And simplifying will give you the time to develop a rich and rewarding inner life. Having that inner connection will make it so much easier to move beyond society's demands and expectations about work. You might have any number of reasons to simplify your work life and any number of goals in mind for doing so. You may be looking for ways to cut back on the amount of time you work so you'll have time to spend with your family and to do your own puttering around the house. I'll share many ways to free up more time in parts 1 and 2. You may love your work, but feel that the demands on your time keep you from getting as much done each day as you know you could. In part 3, I'll show you how to be more productive so you can cut back on the number of hours you work each week. You may find that one of the reasons you work so much is that you just can't say no, and that inability to set appropriate boundaries keeps you chained to your job. I'll show you some things I've learned about setting boundaries and working effectively with others in part 4. You may be intrigued by the idea of simplifying your work life, but believe it's just not possible financially for you to change the way you work. In part 5, I'll show you how to address the financial issues that may be keeping you locked into a work situation you're not happy with, and how to build a new level of financial freedom and security for you and your family. You may want to restructure your current work by telecommuting, job sharing, arranging a more flexible schedule, or even starting your own business. The opportunities for new ways to work are practically unlimited today. I'll discuss many of these options in part 6. You may be tied to outdated ways of thinking about your work and the hours you must spend earning a living, but you should know that there's a whole new world out there now. Just changing the way you think about work will give you a new lease on your work life. You'll find some ways to do that in part 7. Though many of the ideas in this book describe office situations, they're relevant for all walks of life. No matter what kind of work you do, you'll find numerous ways to cut back, work more effectively, set appropriate boundaries, become more efficient with your money, and begin to take advantage of the changes that are happening in the workplace. I invite you to join me in moving with purpose and intention to a simpler work life. This might appear to be a gigantic leap from where you're standing, but once you start the process, you'll be able to look back and see that it was really a quite small step. That step is to decide right now that you'll do what it takes to keep your work in balance with the rest of your life. I've been where you are now. I know how challenging it can be to change the way you work. But if I did it, and as we'll see, thousands of others are doing it, you can too. Come along with me. Let me show you how you can change the way you work so you have more time to live. All right, so I will pause to give my personal opinion about this introduction. Hope I didn't show my junk here. Thought it was well written. I could resonate with most of the themes here. It did. Some of the things I read made me wonder what year this book was written in. Let's see if I can find it. Pull out my library skills from grade school, and should be in the front here. So this was written in 2001. Okay. Hey, it's 2022 as I read this. So some of the things here I would say are, I don't know, it just made me wonder what year this book was written in, but still applicable nonetheless. So as you see, I do have my underlines here. So one thing I underlined was I minimized my wardrobe and drastically changed my consumer habits, and I learned to say no to the demands on my time. So one thing that I took from this was minimizing my wardrobe. I work from home now, and I did something to minimize my wardrobe. Since you can really only see me on video from kind of chest up, I just ordered a bunch of button-up shirts to wear to work, and it's almost become my work uniform. I found some really cute and colorful shirts from J. Crew. So J. Crew is my work uniform. I just grab a shirt, put it on, and that's taken a lot of stress out of getting dressed in the morning. So that's one way that I simplified and minimized my wardrobe. It said drastically changed my consumer habits. Still spending like water. I'll fix it soon. Learn how to say no to demands on my time. In my line of work, I mean, I'm not in a position to really say what I will and won't do. I just kind of do it, what's asked of me at work. Another thing I underlined, it seemed the height of insanity to spend the majority of my time doing something I didn't truly enjoy. So for the 9 to 5ers, I mean, it is what it is. It sounds like she is in more of an entrepreneurial position, and I'm kind of a hobby entrepreneur. My business is on hiatus right now, really because I wasn't enjoying it. So I can relate to her there, and I'm kind of refiguring what I want to do in the extra time that I have. So I did underline that part. Another thing, money simply isn't reason enough to keep up the grind. Yes, it is. I don't know about that part. Definitely motivated by the money, but that may mean something different to someone else. So, okay, I'm most productive, most committed, most happy, and most financially rewarded when I love the work I do. So, I'm good at what I do. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, but it pays my bills. Let's see. Another thing I underlined, cutting back your hectic work pace gives you the opportunity to make sure that you're doing work you love. Well, if I apply that to what I'm doing outside of my 9 to 5, yes. Um, Maximizing my time on my regular job to ensure that I don't go over that will give me more time to do things in my free time, I guess. Let's see. Simplifying will also help you create the balance you're seeking in your work life, your family life, and your personal life. I agree. You'll have more clarity and enthusiasm to meet your goals. I agree with that too. I'm all for the simplify thing. So that's all I really underlined in the introduction. Again, I'm reading Simplify Your Work Life by Elaine St. James, and I look forward to going through the rest of the chapters with you. I did not write this book, just for the record, but I am a fan of Elaine St. James. I ordered a couple of other books of hers off of Amazon, so I'll keep reading if you guys are willing to listen. Have a good one, and hope to talk to you soon.